This question reminds me of a story Al-Qadi Iyad mentioned. It occurred during the time of one of the leaders of Al-Andalus. His name was Abdurrahman ibn al-Hakam al-Amawi. He was the fourth Amawi leader in Qurtuba. He became the leader around 206 years after the Hijrah, at the age of approximately 30 after the death of his father, and he remained the leader until he died at the age of 62. One time it began to rain, and a man known in the story as the nephew of Ajab. When it began to rain, this man, the nephew of Ajab, nephew of a woman named Ajab, he said a disrespectful statement pertaining to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala as it was raining upon them. The man who said the statement is the nephew of Ajab. That's all the story says about him. That's how he's titled. His name is not there. Ajab is the wife of the Ameer of Al-Andalus, Abdurrahman ibn al-Hakam al-Amawi. Not any wife, but his most beloved wife. The man who said that statement was her brother's son, her nephew. Two scholars, Ibn Habib and Asbagh ibn Khalil, from the ulama and fuqaha of Qurtuba, said this man, his punishment is to be executed. The rest, in majority of the fuqaha, said he doesn't need to be executed. It was just vain talk. You just teach him a lesson and let him go about in his way. The judge, Musa ibn Ziyad, went along with the majority of the fuqaha. Ibn Habib said, he needs to be executed and his blood is on my neck. Meaning I take full responsibility before Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala for his blood. Ibn Habib said, دمه في عنقي أيشتم رب عبدناه ثم لا ننتصر له إنا إذا لعبيد السوء ما نحن له بعابدين. Ibn Habib began to cry. He said, how can we not give Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala victory when he gets abused? We're then truly evil slaves and not true worshippers of him. The dispute now went above the judge to the Amir, to Abdurrahman ibn al-Hakam al-Amawi himself. He studied the dispute and he ordered the execution of his wife's nephew. And he ordered the alim, Ibn Habib and his friend, to witness the execution in honor of them. And he ordered his wife's nephew to be crucified after the execution. Then he scolded and abused the ulama who refused to give the fatwa of execution. And he dismissed the judge, Musa ibn Ziyad, from his position for being too soft and for compromising. This was the nephew of the Amir's wife. He could have easily said, I'm going with the majority of the ulama. He could have easily said, I need to follow what my appointed judge ordered, not to go forth with the execution. It's not worthy of execution. To the Amir, to the few ulama, it was serious. What type of muwahideen and Muslimin are we not to at least abandon and do hajr on a murtad who learned the haqq and tawheed and then became its enemy? And there's many verses on that. Ridda is a form of treason and subversion and sedition. And it's sedition against Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and His Messenger sallallahu alayhi wasallam and the deen and the believers. They accept sedition in the US in particular and in other countries as well, but they accept it here as the highest crime, punishable by the highest penalty. But they object to the laws of Islam on that. Ibn Habib said, أَيُشْتَمُ رَبٌّ عَبَدْنَاهُ ثُمَّ لَا نَنْتَصِرُ لَهُ. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala gets abused, yet we don't give him victory. Is there anything less than abandoning the murtad as a form of wala and bara and as a form of inkar of a munkar, a mighty munkar? One who associates with such a family member or mingles with them after advising them hasn't really gotten to know Allah. The soul of ibadah to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is to honor and love Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. ما لكم لا ترجون لله وقارا وما قدر الله حق قدره. Abdullah, the son of Imam Ahmad, rahimahumullah, said, we were walking one time and we overheard someone teaching a hadith pertaining to the descendant of Allah. And he misinterpreted it. He gave a wrong explanation pertaining to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala descendant. He said, my father began to shake. Speaking about Allah. He said, my father began to shake. And he turned pale. And he held my hand. And I had to hold him firm until he calmed down. Then he said, let's go talk to this liar and correct him. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala ordered us to respect and hold in high regard His Messenger sallallahu alaihi wasallam. That includes his teachings. إنا أرسلناك شاهدا ومبشرا ونذيرا لتؤمنوا بالله ورسوله وتعزروه وتوقروه وتسبحوه بكرة وأصيلا. In another verse, فالذين آمنوا به وعزروه ونصروه. To honor, to glorify the Messenger sallallahu alaihi wasallam. And of course that applies to his teachings as well. So for a murtad who doesn't recant, Hajr is the least of the solutions to free yourself from blame when you meet Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. مَعْذِرَةً إِلَىٰ رَبِّكُمْ وَلَعَلَّهُمْ يَتَّقُونَ.